Hey everybody, here's a look at each of the LEGO Series 3 collectible minifigures from 2011. This first one on the collection list is the Fisherman, and he came with a fishing pole as well as a sand green colored fish in just the standard mold. And the string piece that he has a little bar at the end of it, so you could attach the fish to it just like that, hanging in a fairly natural way, which is something that you pretty much can't do with the standard string pieces that either just have just string at the end or have a stud at the end or at both ends, like this one has just at the base. Focusing on the figure itself, the yellow color on the torso and also used for the legs is not the usual yellow. It's the orangish yellow or light yellow orange. And there's another interesting thing going on with his color scheme, because his beard, his Santa's beard, is white, but his own facial hair underneath is gray. He's also hiding quite a happy and genuine looking smile. The pilot here is a throwback to, I want to say, the 1930s with his style. The fluffy parts of his jacket are also printed in an interesting color. That's actually the light yellow color, so yet another different yellow color. He came with the backpack here in dark tan, matching his pants. It's got the dark brown helmet, and the goggles are included, and you can bring those up. He's got white facial hair. This tribal chief came with a spear and a very intricate mold of headdress with all the feathers in it, and it's also nicely printed with the heads of each feather being individually detailed out. Also that red band that goes around. Yeah, this is really nicely done. He's a very young looking chief, but that's cool. If anybody is particularly familiar with different Native American cultures, and you can actually identify from the markings here what specific nation this is based on, that would be really, really interesting and educational to see in the comments. This is the Samurai Warrior, and he has a helmet piece which clearly has several attachments that simply weren't used on this particular figure. And you can kind of see some of the light coming through the legs and even the body just a little bit, but mostly with the legs. And that's just something that a number of folks, a lot of folks actually have complained about with these China manufactured collectible minifigures and other minifigs that come from there. It's actually a slightly different plastic formulation than is used with figures in normal sets. The print on the torso on this one is also very nice, and it's just hidden by the armor most of the time. It's good to see it with that off. The snowboarder is pretty cool, pun not intended. Cool colors, cool prints, and cool accessories. Comes with that snowboard that has its exclusive print. She's got her goggles that can be brought up with just that normal design of modern helmet that they use for just about everything as the base of it, but here it's done in the dark magenta color. No printing on the backs of the torsos for any of these, but print on the legs. This guy was called the Space Villain, and clearly he's from the old Blacktron intergalactic crime syndicate. He's got the classic Blacktron logo right there on his chest. Printing in nice bright silver, it's pretty shiny. And he's got some gunmetal gray parts with the robot arm on this side, the peg leg, and also the ray gun that's molded here in gunmetal gray. He's got a little bit of a laser blast that's just coming out of that. And this is the Series 1 helmet, redone from white to black in color. I think this is one of the more uncommon colors for that helmet to this day. And there's a look at his head with that off, so you can see part of his kind of cyborg enhancements. The sumo wrestler doesn't have a lot going on. There's not much print in total. There's not a lot of stuff attached to the figure in total, but he's got that good hairpiece and also another trophy piece. And the trophy is done in a copper colored coating. It's just a paint or a print on top of that. I'm guessing that this guy is an Ozeki champion. Now, LEGO has done a number of different mummies over time, but this one is by far my favorite. It has so much printing on it, and in fact, this is the first one that I've shown from this series that has printing on the back of the torso. They actually took that all the way around, Very nice. All the wrappings. It's got print on the sides of the legs as well. Too bad they weren't able to take that around the entire head here, but I think it looks good, and it really stands out from the others with the color of the skin. Also came with that dark red scorpion there you could use separately. Here's a Lego lass known as Elf. Just Elf. It's not a licensed character or anything. Not trying to look like any character from any popular theme. No, not at all. This is a really good looking figure though. I think that head and hairpiece works great in this specific color scheme, probably better than in any other, with the yellow just really blending in nicely to the of the ears, blending in really nicely to the face, and the torso print is really nice and has a lot of metallic printing on it. You got a little bit of copper printing going down onto the legs there. It's a beautiful bow piece, and his shield. His shield is really nice, and that's printed, of course, not a sticker. Very collectible stuff here. I also really like this tennis player here. I don't know what it is about the figure, but I would just imagine this character having a lot of personality and being very energetic, just from the look, from the balance of color and the prints and the look on the face. This is nicely executed. I think they need to do more figures with this kind of a theme, more sporting things that look kind of serious. Came with just the single racket there. They don't have any tennis ball kind of piece, but you're gonna have to make something up for that. Really not a whole lot going on with this figure, to be honest. A little bit of print on the side of the legs, but other than that, pretty straightforward. Lego's own Team Octan has its race car driver in this series, and he came with a printed helmet and also a hair piece, so you can swap those out if you want. There's what he looks like with the hair on, and you can see that the top of the helmet is printed all the way around in a circle. Gorilla Suit guy here, I think, was very popular at the time, and I believe this one remains very popular to this date, as a complete coverage of the entire head, not letting any skin be shown on the back of the head, and also has that zipper print on the back of the torso, so another one that's printed on both sides. And the most interesting thing about this to me is the use of very, very matte paint for the face. That gray color has almost no shine to it whatsoever, and it just gives it a different look and feel compared to what you normally get from Lego. They also lined up the eyes of the head underneath very, very well, and you took the head off this one, or the head gear, you see that the poor guy was sweating underneath because the suit is so hot. In 2011, Lego had a theme going called Alien Conquest, and this space alien was specifically designed to kind of match with some of the different types of aliens that were included in the Alien Conquest series, but this is not from that series. It has a unique and exclusive head mold that would have just brought in something additional, and also had the very nice ray gun there. It's molded in pearl gold. It's a pretty cool looking figure, and for any fans of Alien Conquest, this definitely would have been a great one to find through just a regular blind bag pack. Had a little bit of printing on the top of the head there, and the eyes were interesting how they were designed. This was pretty cool. The Hula Dancer is a pretty memorable one, and I don't think they've done anything quite like this since. The thing that stands out the most here, parts-wise, for me, is the inclusion of the flower on the hairpiece. It's just rare to get printed hairpieces. No print around the back of this one. The hips are done in green to match with the skirt. The skirt has just a little bit of serration going along the base of it. And interestingly, in the pictures, the official pictures for this character, that grass skirt actually had individual pieces to it. It was really, just sliced up quite a bit to make it look more like a proper grass skirt. But the real thing didn't come out like that. So perhaps they were suggesting that you use scissors to, actually make that a little bit more realistic, or perhaps they just weren't able to pull that off in a production model, and they had to switch to something a little bit more solid that would be more durable and also easier to actually attach to the figure. This one was officially called Wrapper and has a lot of gold printing, including gold teeth and the entire gold head of the microphone and gold printing on his cap. That's a memorable piece there with the kind of silhouette of a minifigure face or head on it. And there's also gold printing on this exclusive version of the radio. I like that radio quite a bit. It doesn't stand out quite as much as the others. The black color I think is a good choice, and the accent color with the gold just makes this a valuable one to use for more complex scenes that are trying to be a little bit more realistic. It's also got some metallic printing on the legs here, but that's just silver in this case. And there's printing on the hips. That's interesting to me, the print on the hips there. It kind of tries to show a shirt underneath. And also, if you look very closely down below on the belt buckle, it's got that same symbol from the hat that's included in there. So a nice small little detail, and with the hat removed you can see just the rest of what's going on with this guy, with just a couple of little chops taken out of one eyebrow. And that brings us to the last figure in this series, the baseball player. Notice the exclusive printed cap. The bat for this guy, interestingly, is actually molded in white, and all the rest, all the medium nougat color, is just in paint. And they did that because they didn't want to put paint on the handle where he actually grips it, because that over time, you know, taking it off, putting it back on, could actually cause the paint to scratch off or chip off. So most of what you see there is paint. There's no print on the back of this one. And that does it for this series. Series 3 seems to be when LEGO really caught their stride when it comes to designing these entire collectible minifigure lines. It feels like they got the final formula for just how much diversity to include across, you know, including different themes and things from different parts of real world and fantasy and sci-fi and such together. Bringing together modern as well as historical and potential futuristic kinds of themes. I feel like this really worked right here as an entire body of work for one season. Let me know if you have any favorite out of this entire series here and what you think of the series on the whole. I can't pick just one favorite out of all these for myself personally, but I'm gonna throw in the Mummy and the Hula Dancer and the Elf as my top 3. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.